Hey folks, here we are. 4th generation Firebird, Trans Am, F-Body, whatever you want to call it. It has an LT1 motor, and I am doing a wire tuck. I'm just about done with it. Proved to be a little more difficult than I expected, in large part because of that junction box that General Motors put there. But I want to do a quick summary in case you're wondering or want to do it yourself. I moved my ECM out of the way. I've now moved my power steering reservoir, battery, and coolant overflow out of the way. Gives you a little more space to toy around with whatever ideas you want to do. Let's see, first things first, you will disconnect your wiring harness up here. You've got to pull a vacuum line from your check valve here. Just pull it straight toward the passenger side. It should pop out a little easier than going upward. And you don't have to screw around with the boot going through everything. The hard part next is, if you can see, that little harness down there. See the little clip? You've got to unclip that. It is a wheel speed sensor. The easy way to do it is relatively easy. Disconnect that and then disconnect it from the frame rail. There's a pop rivet holding it in place, so pry it off with a screwdriver or whatever you want to do. And that has to come up and be rerouted along with the vacuum line. It will go through the front section with the bulk of the harness and then obviously feed it back through. At some point before you can feed it through, you got to cut a hole. I chose to go down low next to where the ECM sits to kind of give it more of a tucked look. Some people put the hole up here. It's your choice, it's your car. Figure it out, see what you're comfortable with. What I found was a downside to that lower location is that when you come out under the fender, well, it's not quite invisible. So you'll have to protect that and do what you can. There's some light on it. And then feed it up under the fender liner if you choose to go that low with it. Fender liner does not give you a lot of play. There's not a lot of space under there. So I learned the hard way to be careful with my decisions. I thought that I'd clean everything up nicely and tuck everything away. I replaced this junction box with a cheap little Amazon one because it's going to be hidden and doesn't matter if it's Chinese crap. I had drilled a couple holes rather, down there behind where the coolant reservoir sits, and I tried to mount that on the underside of it. It proved to be too bulky and didn't want to let the fender liner, go back on. So I then chose to fill in the holes, got some quick steel, filled in the 2 holes here and 3, I think, holes over here. If you don't want to go that route, Lowe's sells these little plastic plugs, 1/4 inch. They filled in the holes over here, 1/2 inch filled in the holes over here. And these, as you can still see, I've got a couple of them there. And I used those to hold the loom in place underneath. It's got that closed end, and you can zip tie the loom to it if you choose. Prevents it from rattling around, I hope, and hopefully we'll keep it in place and safe. Obviously I've still got to sand and paint this up, but I think that'll look pretty good. I don't know if I mentioned it, but what I ended up doing, once I filled those holes, I drilled 1 single hole and mounted this thing upside down there. Also had to drill the hole to route the battery cables through. That was I don't know, maybe a 1/2 inch. I used a step bit, so I just kind of got it big enough and got the grommet in there. Grommet I also got from Lowe's. The ground, when I went to remove the original ground, the stud broke. Sorry, couldn't think of the word. Simple word, can't think of it. Anyway, stud broke. And so I got what I believe is called a carriage bolt, also from Lowe's. You don't have to use Lowe's, go wherever. It's got that little square shoulder there. So I drilled out the broken stud and gave it a little more room, just enough to barely seat that square area, and then tapped it down with a hammer. It holds it there pretty well and should look pretty clean once everything's back together. I think that's just about it. Just wanted to give you the rundown. GM doesn't give you a whole lot of room on those wires. with the fusible links that go to that block. So you can explore other options. I didn't want to eliminate it because I don't know a lot about re-engineering harnesses. Some guys, they get different types of junction blocks. They extend the wires, they mount something down inside the fender. I didn't really want to go that far into it. In fact, I didn't want to go as far as I've gone into it with filling the holes and painting everything, but I think it's going to look pretty good. Hopefully this is helpful to you, and good luck. Have a good day. Enjoy your car. If this has been helpful, like and maybe subscribe. See ya.